Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions or views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you, so see you later. And please enjoy the rest of the show. Right, so this listener says, I end up breaking it off with the girlfriend. The lack of good conversation and the constant correcting her was doing my head in. I'm assuming this is the person with the geography. Yeah.
Oh, the girl that didn't know where London was or something.
No, she knew. She didn't know that London is a country in itself.
Well, she thought London was country in itself.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I only read a little bit. Yeah, proceeded to say London is a country. She's gone full crazy mode now, though, and has turned what seemed to be an amicable breakup into a toxic one. She has told my parents that I was sleeping with other women when she saw them in the store. She also sabotaged me talking to a new girl in the office before I'd even thought about the girl in any way of dating. She told the girl I had anger issues and had been violent in the past. All of these are lies, and I don't know what to do to stop my name getting dragged through the mud. What do you think? Oh, crazy girls, man.
Remain silent, I say.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing you can do is lean into it and
Retaliate,
argue with her and stuff like that, because that's what she's wanting.
Yeah.
Like this, she obviously just saw a female that's close to you at work and has like made an assumption that that's the reason you probably left her. And that's why she's gone to this girl.
Mm-hmm.
But if you cut her off and block and delete her, ghost her from your fucking life, then after a while she won't see or hear from you. You won't see or hear from her at all.
No, she'll get bored,
and she won't have the connection to figure out who you're dating or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's just you just have to give it time. She's obviously feeling a bit scorned at the minute and doesn't understand why you split up with her. So you just got to deal with it, mate. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that in my past. There's a lot of people like that in a lot of people's pasts where they're just crazy fucking people. I think Dan helped me through a breakup with a crazy fucking girl a long time ago, and there was all kinds of shit going on, and she was doing some crazy shit, and all I had to do, which is what I've learned to do since then, is totally fucking ghost them and get out of their lives. Yeah. And then they can't do anything to you.
Yeah. It's just attention, right? It's like they still want to be involved and things like that. And if you just ignore it, because like at the end of the day, your parents know who you are. They're not going to believe someone.
And what business, even if you was sleeping with other women, which you said you wasn't anyway, it's not your parents' business.
Yeah, but anyway, she's going to drag him in anyway because she's seen him, and she. But like, it's what I mean. Like, your parents aren't going to believe it, and then, what does it matter if a girl at work thinks you have anger issues? Because when she's worked with you for a little bit, she'll suddenly realise that you don't,
and that you just have a crazy ex.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just carry on working as normal. Because if you go up to her and you start going like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," you know, we broke up, and then you're just doing this back and forth. She's going to be like, "Oh yeah, you seem a bit like you've got something wrong."
Yeah, for it to get back to him as well, I think all he's got to say when it's brought up is like, "Oh yeah, that's Jasmine or whatever her name is. That's Jasmine, my ex. Yeah, she's a bit mental," and that's all you've got to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that. I'd just be like, "Yeah, right, whatever." When my ex broke up with me and we were still like living together, whatever, one of her co-workers lived a couple doors down.
Yeah.
And she was out the front once, and I went out there and I was like chatting to her and stuff like that because obviously I knew her. And I was like, "Oh, I hear that she's got another job." And she's like, "No, she was on a date the other day." And I was like, "Well, it's funny because she was telling me that she was working at the bar." And she goes, "Oh no, she went on a date." And she was like, "Oh, she told everyone at work that all you did was argue with her. That's why you broke up." And I was like, "All right then." And they were like, yeah, no, she lies all the time. And I was like, I didn't even have to defend myself. They were just sort of like, that was bullshit. Because I'm standing there talking to her like she's fucking
Yeah.
like we're friends. I'm not angry or rude. I didn't even badmouth her, even though I could have quite happily, because she
Yeah.
digs her own holes, right? Like eventually the lies catch up, and people just suddenly like, oh yeah, all right, whatever you say. Like they just stop believing it because she just fixated on someone and she's having a go about them, and people just don't give a fuck. At
Well,
the end of the day,
look what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, where we were talking about worst ex ever. Like the Chinese girl, the ex girlfriend, was acting that crazy that the courts were like taking more and more custody away from her because she was like lashing out more and more towards the ex,
yeah, and he
and
wasn't
that's what
doing anything.
happens in
He
people's
literally
lives.
he didn't retaliate at all, and she
Yeah,
was just digging her own hole, and that's what this woman's going to do. As long as you don't like try and badmouth her or whatever, just let her do whatever she wants. Eventually, people are just going to get bored of listening to it, and she'll move on. And just take it as you dodged a bullet.
yeah.
I mean, you
Glad you
gave it a
brought out that
go
so early.
because you sent in maybe a month ago, so you gave it a go. And sometimes people just aren't meant to be together. But like,
Yeah, he sent that in a month ago, and he was having doubts then. So he
yeah,
lasted a month with doubts. So he tried.
yeah, some people just aren't supposed to be together. But sometimes the problem is that one side wants it more than the other. So then when it breaks up, they're like, "Oh no, that's not right." It's like, well, life goes on. That's just move on. I don't know why you've got to be sour about it. Like, what are you going to do? Stay angry for the next 50 years?
Yeah, I just think it's insane sometimes, man.
Yeah. But when you're younger and stuff like that, like I've been through some horrible. And now when I look back at it, and I'm like, why do I even bother? Like when I was with one of my exes, like I had an alleyway with like a gate at the end of it, and the amount of nights that I was end up standing in the alleyway and having a screaming match with each other,
Mm.
and I just think to myself, like I should just let her fucking go.
I do think that. Like when I look back on some of my old relationships, I think there's a lot of times where you're hanging on to something where it would be better for both people if they were pulled out of that situation and out of that bubble of that relationship. They would tell each other, like, "Look, you need to leave it."
Yeah, exactly. And then like one person smarts up, like this one is like, oh, it's not worth it. We're not
It's too much hassle.
Yeah, well, not. I don't even know what he said, but you just say, oh, it's not working out. It's probably best to, which is good because you're not wasting each other's time. But then
Yeah,
that person's like, well, I thought we were all right. And then that's it. Then you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going to be hard when people are telling lies about you. But
I think the pursuit of you being happy is, in the grand scheme of things, more important than what this girl can do to diminish your reputation. I don't think she can do enough for it to be a big thing. So I wouldn't worry. I would just don't retaliate. Let her make herself look crazy, and it will all work itself out.
yeah, yeah, because if you, like I said about the anguish and stuff, if you just carry on working and you just get on with it, people see for themselves. People make up their own minds eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think you'll be all right, and you'll find someone else. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be sleeping with people you work with anyway because it's a bad idea.
Yeah, you could end up in sticky situations.
Yeah, and then you can't get away from that crazy bitch because now you work with her. But thanks for your email, man. Hopefully it goes all right, and let us know when she finally gives up and she moves on. She'll find someone else that's just as fucking crazy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
They deserve each other.